instead of so basically they're asking people to abandon empathy and
Yeah.
support sympathy as a way of dealing with situations.
You know
And
what? This is even a topic. Good lord. I mean
well,
I
I
mean,
think
come
it's a
on.
topic for them. I think it's a topic for them because I think it gives them a rationale for continuing to do the harmful things that they've been doing, whether it's immigration, whether it's what's happening in educational systems, when it's cutting funding for USAID, AID. I think it's a justification because then they can rationalize that these are the best decisions we should make because they seem like the best decision, regardless of who it harms. So women, when they, we take their right to reproductive health away, and we force people who unfortunately are victims of incest having the child of their father or uncle or something like that. That we're just you're being too empathetic.
Well, I just think it's once again goes back to I'm right and you're wrong. My values are the right values to have. You could put a bow on it and call it sympathy versus empathy, but at the heart of it, it's I'm right, you're wrong, I'm in charge, you gonna do it this way. Right?
Hmm.
And maybe to an extent, maybe that's where we're at in society, regardless of who's in power. I'm right, you're wrong. And, we have really a long way to go to create spaces where we can actually learn from one another. It's not safe to do that right now. So you got
It's not
sympathy,
safe.
empathy, and as therapists, obviously, right, we engage in empathy, which, can be socialized. There's some controversy about whether it can be taught. Can you feel what other people feel? Right? Can you imagine what it would be like to be them? And quite frankly, if you can, that's very healing for people. And that's one of the things that's missing, right? So, for example, I might have economic privilege, right, due to my educational background and multi-generational folks going to school and all that kind of stuff. And I may never be able to touch the experience of somebody who doesn't have their next meal, but can I at least try to imagine what that might be like and have empathy for that experience? I can't live it, but I can really imagine what that's like and feel the weight of that and the humanity for the person going through those things.
Well, and I think what at least what you make me think of is what are the skills that are necessary to build empathy, right? Because sympathy, by the definition I understand, is really you're understanding the situation, but you're not really seeing it from their perspective, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
"Aw,
it's almost like
I'm
pity,
sorry." Yeah, "Poor
right?
you."
It's, oh,
Yeah,
I'm so sorry for you, and I'm not saying there's no place for sympathy, but if you're trying to really understand where a person is coming from, it's really understanding. I mean, it's going away from the golden rule to the platinum rule, which says I need to be in your shoes and understand where you're coming from and knowing what they want, not what you want.
right.
And
Right.
I think that's the struggle that people have. And I'm not saying it's easy, but building the skills of empathy, particularly not. I'm not talking about strangers on the street. I'm talking about just in your family. I mean, I can't
But even
imagine being
strangers
there
on
to
the street, would that be good too? Shoot.
I mean, it sure would be, but I guess what I'm having a problem with is you're saying empathy has no place. Where does it play out in your relationship with your significant others, with your children, with your family, your extended family members? You got to have some empathy in there to
Well,
make the family work
maybe that's
well.
different because it's your family. I don't know. I
Well,
don't know.
that's an important distinction. Maybe some people make rules saying I could do it for these folks.
I could do it for people who look like me or I'm related to or, my people, but those people over there, which goes back to the whole thing that we've been talking about, humanity,
Yeah,
kindness.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, because just now, and I know that I know you know this, but you know, when you're dealing with someone who's very different than you on some level, whether it be race, gender, economic status, you name it, there's all kinds of reasons why you may not be able to connect with them because of the differences that you have. But that's why it's important to delve into getting to know someone because chances are there's some commonality there that you're ignoring, not paying attention to, you're not aware of, you haven't spent the time to get to know them. That's where the bridge happens in those
But you have to
unaware commonalities.
yep, but you have to value that in the first place.
Exactly. You have to see them
So
as human, right?
that's right.